Alright, welcome. This is Ariana Martin and this is my Industrial Revolution in Great Britain presentation. So getting started, as a class we're going to discuss the following questions. What does this image tell us? And is this a positive or negative representation of the Industrial Revolution? So I want you to sit there for a minute and think about your response for these two questions. Once you're ready, you can raise your hand and we will discuss them as a group. So, first up. From urban to rural lifestyle. So prior to the Industrial Revolution, most of the workforce was employed in agriculture, either as self-employed farmers, as landowners, or tenants, or as landless agricultural laborers. This way of life was known as the cottage industry. People lived off the land and used the resources to create their own goods, creating an economy through trade. The development of a technological tool such as the spinning jenny allowed for economic opportunities. So these new inventions led to a population growth. So the population of England had more than doubled from 8.3 million in 1801 to 16.8 million in 1850, and by 1901 had nearly doubled again to 30.5 million. The improved conditions led to the population of Britain to increase from 10 million to 40 million in the 1800s. So now we're going to stop here and take a look at this map. One side is England prior to the Industrial Revolution, and the other is England during the Industrial Revolution. So with your partner, you're going to discuss the following questions. One being, what is the image conveying about the Industrial Revolution? How were cities impacted by the Industrial Revolution? And how might these conditions of the cities impact the lives of inhabitants? So really take a close look at this map and really try to explain and use these questions to guide you as to how you think these changes really impacted the lives of citizens living in England during this time. So some of the societal changes in Great Britain happened for minority groups such as women. So in Great Britain, the social changes regarded women and home lives, and it can be categorized into three stages. So stage one is the pre-industrial era. Protection was mostly for home use, and women produced much of the needs of the household, such as making their own clothes, cleaning, and taking care of the family. The second stage was the family wage economy of early industrialization. The entire family depended on the collective wages of its members, including the husband, the wife, and older children. And the third, or modern stage, is the family consumer economy, in which the family is the site of consumption, and women are employed in large numbers in retail and clerical jobs to support rising standards of consumption. So one of the images here displays women in a textile factory, which is where most commonly women worked during this time. Child labor. So there was a limited opportunity for education and children were expected to work. Employers could pay a child less than an adult even though their productivity was comparable, and many children were forced to work in relatively bad conditions for much lower pay than their elders. They would endure beatings and long hours, with some child coal miners and hurriers working from sunrise till sunset. So the conditions were dangerous, with some children killed when they dozed off and fell in the path of carts, while others died from gas explosions that commonly happen in coal mining situations. Here we have an image of a child cleaning up in a textile industry, and the bottom shows what a hurrier is, which is a child that would carry the cart from its back and another pushing it from the back, and this is commonly used in coal mining industries. So there were some positive results of the Industrial Revolution, even though it's constantly overshadowed by negative effects. So in the terms of social structure, the Industrial Revolution witnessed a triumph of a middle class of industrialists and businessmen over the landed class of nobility. The working class people found more opportunities for employment in the new mills and factories, which were often under strict working conditions with long hours of labor dominated by a pace of machines. So even though there was still some larger aspect of negative impacts, there was some positive results for at least some group of this population. So again, we're going to take a moment to reflect about the information that we have learned today, and we're going to take a moment to analyze these two images using these questions. So, one being, what was the main accomplishment of the Industrial Revolution in Great Britain? How is this still relevant in today's society? And what are these images conveying about the future of Great Britain? So again, turn to your partner and discuss and really think about explaining your reasoning using these images for support. So for example, for what are the images conveying about the future of Britain? The one on the left shows a very negative impact of pollution and the loss of farmlands, while the one on the right shows a possibility of profit where other countries coming into England to make their own benefits and working class improvements. And lastly, next time we will learn about the following: labor unions, factory strikes, the rise of political ideologies such as capitalism, socialism, and communism, Karl Marx and his book of the Communist Manifesto, the utilitarianism movement, and the development of romanticism and realism art.